Thanks for coming back to the Sunday Conversation. Dr. Penny Elkins, she's the president of Mercer University, Columbus native. We talked about the Jordan High roots and all that last segment. This segment I want to talk about Mercer. You've been at Mercer as a student in 25 years. You have done just about every job you could do at Mercer University. If you look at your resume, it's impressive. What did it mean when the board unanimously voted for you to become its next president last November, and you started in January to succeed President Underwood, who did a great job over his 20 years?
He did. There's so much to unpack in that comment that you just made. But first of all, let me say that Mercer shaped the trajectory of my life. I was not going to Mercer, by the way. I'm sorry to say that to all of you, so sorry, but
where were you going?
Well, I had been it's one of those things when you're growing up in Georgia, and a lot of young people today that we actually talk to at Mercer are thinking, oh, I just want to get out, I want to go beyond. And so I was going to go to the Northeast, and I had been accepted to Princeton. I laughingly say they probably needed a poor young woman from the Southeast in the Northeast.
So Mercer's the Princeton of the South.
Hey, we are the Ivy League of the South. We absolutely are. But it was one of those conversations with one of my many mentors in Columbus, Georgia, who said, just go look at Mercer. And my goodness, when I did, I knew that was the place for me. I found those faculty members, a community that embraced me, and I knew that they were going to challenge me to be the best version of myself, and that certainly happened. So it was easy for me then, after having served as an elementary teacher and principal, elementary assistant principal, and then I was at Georgia College actually for 5 years in the Department of Teacher Education, which is, that's right, and I loved Georgia College. But it was very easy for me to come back home to Mercer 25 years ago when a couple of professors said, hey, you need to come back home, and I did so.
When did you realize, I mean, you obviously knew that President Underwood's tenure was growing near an end. When did you realize, hey, I could possibly be the president of Mercer?
So here's the way I approach that question, which could create some emotion again. But number one, I have the greatest respect and affinity, deep love for Bill Underwood and his wife Leslie, his entire family. I aspire to be the mentor that he was for me. Not once was my voice in any way diminished at Mercer. He always elevated my thinking, my voice across our campus. And I laughingly say, you mentioned that my vita shows I've done many jobs, and so my response to that is, well, I just can't keep a job at Mercer, and so I'm going to keep this one, though,
but
I promise you.
You kept your vacation. So.
I did. I'm going to tell you, though, but Bill really did equip me, and I'm going to tell you something, Chuck, and this is not going to surprise you at all. I made a commitment years ago, and I've tried to think of what was that time. Was it 10 years? Was it 12 years? I don't know. But I made a commitment that no matter what, I was going to stay at Mercer University, because you've heard the transformative power that it has done in my life, and I thought, I can never fully repay that. But I'm going to live out my life's calling trying to pay it forward for all of these other students. And Bill was a critical part of that. And I promised him, I went into his office one day and I said, look, I've made a decision, because we did have other folks calling. And I made a decision. I said, you know what, I'm not going to leave. And to be clear, though, and I want everybody to understand this, and Bill certainly did, I did not stay at Mercer to become president. I stayed at Mercer to serve the institution that has given me so much. And the amazing part of the story is I did become president.
It's amazing. And, and I ask this with trepidation, but I'm going to ask it anyway in a very non-traditional way. You're the first woman to become president of Mercer. And when you say the first, that comes with a question. But, talking to you and listening to you, you don't sound like a woman president of Mercer. You sound like the president of Mercer. I mean,
yes, sir.
How do you deal with that first means something to a lot of people.
It does.
But how do you deal with that, but also say, hey, I'm the president, regardless of my gender.
That's right. Well, we do aspire that we live in a world where they're not female presidents or presidents of a certain race or ethnicity, but they're presidents. You know, that's really what we aspire. However, let me say this. The Board of Trustees told me very clearly when I was elected on November 14th as the 19th president of Mercer University that I was chosen because of my competence. I was chosen because I am the leader for Mercer University. Now, what has surprised me, and I shouldn't be surprised, but what has surprised me is the affirmation of the community, both male and female, that I am the first president who is a female leader. And the thing that's very humbling to me is from the young women in particular are looking as if, okay, if she can do it, I can too. And if that is part of being the first female president, I embrace it with everything I have.
Great answer. We're getting near the end of this. I can't keep going without Mercer as a Macon institution. You have a medical school here in Columbus. You have a lot of supporters, board members that come from Columbus. How important is the city of Columbus to Mercer University and its success?
Well, let me say, first of all, Mercer is a Georgia institution. We have, I don't know that people realize this, but we have 7 campuses throughout the state of Georgia and lots of residency sites and clinical sites and clinics throughout the state of Georgia. You know our rural health mission.
Yeah.
So
Hamilton, Plains,
yes,
are all over the place.
exactly. Harris County. So if you look at a map of Georgia, I mean, you see Mercer throughout the state of Georgia. So Macon is our historic residential campus, of course, but we have campuses in Atlanta, a very huge graduate professional campus, and of course our beloved campus in Columbus, Georgia, which obviously for many reasons is very near to my heart. But it's near to me because A, I'm from here, but B, more importantly, we are Mercer on mission. And this community needed a medical school to serve the healthcare needs in this area. The Southwest Georgia population is one of the most underserved areas in the state of Georgia, which I know you know.
And it's also it's a high poverty area.
Exactly. And so what more of a place for Mercer to come? And we only come where we believe that there is a need that is not being met, and we are invited into a community. And I'm so glad that we were invited into this Columbus community.
Well, I'm so glad you stopped by this morning. I could talk to you all day. We really appreciate, Dr. Elkins, you coming by. You have been watching the Sunday Conversation. Dr. Penny Elkins, president of Mercer University. We hope you come back again next week because there's no telling who will be sitting in that chair.